What is up? My name is Nunchi. I am back with another video today. Today we're going to be talking about BookTok books that were 5 stars for me. We're just going to kick it right off. Let's go.
I don't really need a new friend, so spend your time with me. Looking for someone who can play though, wanna hang with me.
Book number 1, You've Reached Sam. I don't know how popular this was like overall BookTok, but that is how I discovered it, so I'm considering it a BookTok book. Anyway, the premise is, the themes are like grief, recovery, and loss. Basically, the main character, is grieving because she just lost her boyfriend. That was just kind of like a whirlwind romance kind of thing, very high energy, but like it doesn't feel like a insta-lovey kind of thing, even though it kind of is, but it doesn't feel like it. So anyway, he dies, and this story is about her kind of going through it, trying to figure out how she needs to handle this, because her initial reaction is just like pretend nothing ever happened, which obviously is not healthy and is hurting people around her. But to get through her grief, she calls his phone to hear his voicemail, to hear his voice one last time, and he answers. So now through their phones they have a connection to each other, but like while they're connected to each other, she's not receiving any other calls, she's not connected to the real world, that kind of stuff. So well done. It is the first book that like literally brought a tear to my eye in so long, and it was like the grief was just so perfectly executed. Highly recommend, definitely worth the hype. If it had, I'm pretty sure it has hype. Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I've heard back and forth on this, like by booktubers and people that I typically agree with on books, but a bad review doesn't typically turn me away from a book. But Daughter of the Moon Goddess was super fast paced. It was just like years, the book spanned like years of this girl's life. But essentially, the Daughter of the Moon Goddess is hidden. The other gods and goddesses don't know about her because her mom is on the moon and she's supposed to stay there, and all such whatnot. She goes on an adventure to free her mom from her imprisonment and basically earn the Emperor's trust, or find some way to break the curse that has her mom bound to the moon. It has so many good arcs through it. Like, it's like a book of different arcs of her life. And I know some people didn't like that. They're like, oh, like it kind of felt like it could be a series. It felt like it was going a long way, but like it felt like a legend, or like a campfire story almost, like kind of thing. I don't know how I'm not describing that well, but like it, for me, I loved that it kept going and that it wasn't broken up into series, because I feel like if it was broken up into series, the author would have had to add like a bunch of extra stuff in between that didn't really matter to the actual story, but like just to get those full length stories or books out of each of the arcs. I thought it was done well, very fast paced. If you're the kind of person that doesn't like to wait between series or like read a bunch of stuff that really has no weight to the story, definitely would recommend. The Invisible Life of Addie, libero. Now I know some people absolutely hated this book, and some people were like, oh, it's so slow, which is why I almost didn't pick it up. So many people like it's slow, I don't really like it. I picked it up on a whim, found that at the library on my library app, picked it up, listened to it, but I did listen to the audiobook, and I think that might have had something to do with it because the narrator was chef's kiss. Loved the narrator. It never felt slow to me. It felt, parts that were slowed down felt intentional, because this story is about a girl who's been granted immortality, and she cannot die, she can't starve, she can't anything like that. She cannot die. So there are times in her life that would feel like they're dragging out and like there's no meaning to anything anymore. And I think the parts that did feel like that were intentional, because I felt very drawn into the story and very enthralled, honestly. Like, it was so interesting to me to hear her like running into all these. And mind you, I didn't give this one a 5-star. I included it in this video because I did love the story, but there is, and with Cindy brought this up too, she like never runs into any like POC people, or like people of other origins or like skin colors somehow in like her 300 or 400 years of life. And I thought that was a little weird, because there's this one black girl in there that's just like, she's like absolutely enthralled with and like in love with momentarily, briefly. But I find it weird that you haven't seen a single other person of color in your 300 to 400 years of life. Was a little weird to me. Um, that was the only weird part that I found in the book. Overall, the story was engaging. I love the idea of somebody being alive for that long. Immortality has always kind of interested me in that aspect. And then she meets a guy, but the catch to this is she's alive for all these years, but nobody will remember her. So the second they see her face and they look away, they don't remember her anymore. Somebody does, and that's where the things start getting twisty and turny. Iron Widow. Now I know I found the author first and then saw her release this book, and it is a story of vengeance of this girl, real life. She's just like, I don't care if I die, I'm getting revenge for my sister. I loved it. And then when she finds out what she can do, she's just like, I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm just gonna keep doing this. But she gets paired with somebody equally as strong, and that becomes an issue. But like her childhood BFF like comes in clutch. It has a polyamorous relationship in it, and it's so cute. Oh my god! Like I don't want to give too much away from this, and I'm going to if I keep gushing about it. But I think the representation in it was great for like polyamory. It's super healthy. It comes off like it's going to be a love triangle at first, but it's not. I'm sorry if that kind of ruins it for you, but like I also kind of had a feeling early on that that's where it was going, because it wasn't that typical like macho man, this is my girl kind of thing, which was fantastic. Loved the story, loved the world building, especially. Like I could really see this kind of dystopic way that these machines and these people were fighting this war. I'm like, well done. I love the world building. Moving on. Final book. The final book I read was, or not final book I read, but the final book on this list is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. I loved this because it gave me that like I'm being told some kind of legend or folklore kind of thing, and I love those stories with all of my heart and soul, and it very much gave me that vibe. And what happens is there's this sea god who is not protecting the village, or possibly causing this damage to the village that's happening, like flooding and destruction and all that. And so the village is sacrificing a young girl every year in hopes of quelling his wrath and finding a suitable bride that can tame his temper, kind of thing. The girl that's picked happens to be the girl that the main character's brother is in love with. And so, as a last minute decision, the main character leaps into the ocean, taking the girl's place and trying to preserve her brother's relationship and not wanting to see him lose somebody he loves as he lost her. So she didn't think about that one, but she wanted her brother to be happy, which was so sweet, because I would have pushed my brother into the ocean myself. I'll be like, maybe he doesn't like all these women because he don't swing that way. Maybe he wants a strapping young man. That's just me. I have like 5 brothers, so I have some to spare. She has to go on this adventure to break the curse that is over the sea dragon's head, and she runs into this one dude that I'm just like, he likes her, but I don't know if he's gonna admit it, but she has to marry the sea god, because, you know, her village. So she can't do that. So she like goes with him, and she's like, something's off here. After she finally meets him, after people be trying to kill her for no reason other than the fact that they want the sea god's power. But anyway, it's an adventure. It's in the afterlife. She loses her soul for a little bit. She got a little birdie for a little bit, and red string of fate kind of stuff. And if you've heard legends or like the lore behind the red string of fate, it's so freaking cute, and I love it. Anyway, those are BookTok books that I found to be some of the most engaging books that I read from BookTok. We'll probably do BookTok books that I have hated next. Anyway, that is it. Have a fantastic day. You guys are great. That is my book right there. I just made that. And that's the hardcover copy. That'll be coming out soon. This June 16th is going to be the... June 16th is going to be the year birthday of London Boy. So I'm super excited about that. Probably, I think that's the day that the hardcover comes out. But I have to actually finish the extra scenes that go with the hardcover to make it a little bit more worth it. Actually, I have to finish writing that. Anyway, fantastic to see you. Have a great day and peace.
I don't really need new friends, so spend your time with me. Looking for someone who can play though, wanna hang with me. I'm not really looking for a friend, so spend your time with me. Looking for someone not afraid of